Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona, and today I'm going to do a review of the newest Billie Eilish record. This is her third record. Hit Me Hard and Soft is the name of it. So I'm going to do a review specifically of the vinyl version. I'm going to do a review musically, and I'm also going to do a review sonically. Now here I have the black vinyl version, but I've also heard the Seafoam Green, I think it's called, vinyl version, and I'll talk about the sound quality and the sonic characteristics of the record as well. There's a good part of this review and there's a bad part of the review. And I guess I'll start with the good. Let's talk about the music. I'm actually a Billie Eilish fan. I listen to a lot of music. I don't listen to a ton of new music, but I do have a very wide, diverse taste in music. And the thing I like about Billie is she's very unique and it's different. And when you run a record store and you hear the same crap, modern-wise, music-wise, over and over and over again, Billie's very refreshing. It's a very different style of music. I'll give you a little bit of background. So when I happen to have my Billie Eilish stuff right here. So when her first EP came out, right? My kids were a fan of it, and they listened to it, and this was her first physical release, full-length release, EP, I guess. She had some singles, but when this came out, my kids listened to it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty different. I didn't pay much attention to it. The only people at this point in time that were really listening to it in mass, it wasn't widely popular yet, was, you know, the younger crowd. Then came her first album, her first full-length album. When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? This was the record that got me into Billie. Fantastic. Blew me away. So much different than anything else. It's kind of ironic. So I think this came out 2019, right? 2019, right before the pandemic. It was 2017 or 2019. I want to say it was 2019. Yeah, 2019. This was funny because as this record got a little bit longer, you know, after it was out for 4 or 5 weeks, the kids were buying it at first, you know, 16, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. Then my average customer for this record was like 40-year-old men. And it was kind of funny, but it really kind of resonated, it seemed, with that age bracket, kind of that 35 to 45-year-old. And the common thread was like, wow, this is really different. It's really unique. One thing I'll tell you about this record as well, this is sonically fantastic. This is a record that I've used many times to set up equipment. The bass on this is fantastic. It kind of presents a challenge for turntables to track. Sonically, it's a fantastic record. Musically, it's really a great record too. Listen to it a bunch of times. One of the interesting things about this record in 2019, non-audiophile record, this was the best-selling record that I had for the entire year. It outsold Dark Side of the Moon, Abbey Road, Sgt. Pepper, all the stalwart, normal, top sellers, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, outsold all those by a handsome quantity. And it was unique because every single time I ordered 20 copies, you know, and this was like pre-internet. I was only selling really locally. I had an online web store, but it was really not to the level it is now. But, you know, I'd order 10 copies, sell out, order 20 copies, sell out. It didn't matter how many copies I ordered, it just sold out, sold out, sold out. It was a big success. So then came the follow-up, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be great. Everyone's going to love it. I'm going to sell tons of copies. I ordered hundreds of copies. I've got a few of them here. Here's a sealed one. Here's a couple sealed ones. I personally didn't really care for this record. Wasn't my cup of tea. It kind of deviated a lot from what I liked about the first record. It wasn't that good. Sonically, not a bad record. Spread out over 2 discs. Oh, you know what? There was a EP there was a live album she did at Third Man Records. This was awesome. Oh man, I used to play this in the store when it came out. This originally came out as a record store day title. When this came out, I played it in the store. Everybody loved it. Every age bracket, wonderful record, really well recorded. That kind of came out in between this. Again, this I was not a fan of. I anticipated it being a big time seller like the first record. So on my initial order, I ordered 400 copies, thinking this is going to be a home run. Dead. Didn't sell. I've got it on sale for like maybe 15, 20 bucks versus the normal 40 it came if you go to the website. I got it. I'm losing my ass on it. I can't give these things away. Periodically I do auctions and I give these away as like giveaways. Like I literally give this record away to try to clear out the records. It just, like I said, it wasn't my cup of tea, but I feel like it wasn't a lot of other people's cup of tea because it didn't do really well. I didn't really care for the songwriting. I didn't care for the production. I didn't really care for any part of this record. It was forgettable for me. So when the third record came out, I kind of thought to myself, you know, this is a unique time because it's like, where do you go? What does it end up being like? So the third record, a little weird too. So Billie came out originally and said, you know, I'm tired of all these greedy artists selling multiple variants. It's bad for the environment and, you know, bunch of BS. You know, I know I sound like a boomer here. I'm going to go after the young girl, but railed about how, these Taylor Swift making all this money, selling all these variants. I'm not doing stuff like that. I would never, you know, I'm hyperbole, but so then I get an email from the label. Billie's very conscious about the environment. That's why we are only doing seven variations of this record. Well, if you're only doing 7 variations, that's totally environmentally conscious. But one of the things they're doing, well, to make it environmental, is they're putting it on eco vinyl. I'll tell you more about eco vinyl a little bit later. I've got a lot of things to say about eco vinyl. Anyways, I played the record 4 times now. Musically, I think this is another fantastic record. I really like it. A lot of people say, I think, that I've talked to that have heard it with me, it's a lot like her first album. I really don't think so. I think it's a kind of a blend of the first and second album. It's really a lot of what I liked about the first record, production-wise, presentation-wise, but her lyrics are a lot more refined. She's not quite Bob Dylan, but she's getting much better at constructing songs lyrically. Her phrasing, kind of her way about speaking about things without, you know, just her general writing style is greatly improved. And I think that's really to the benefit of this record. So I really dig it. Musically, this is really fantastic. Now let's talk about the sonics of it. Goose Fabra. Okay, sonically, this record is absolutely atrocious. This record sucks. It's horrible. This record is atrocious sounding. Oh my God, I don't know what the hell happened here. It's so bad. It's so bad. Everything about this record is sonically horrible. I do not understand for the life of me how an artist of this caliber cannot hire a proper mastering engineer. Now, I don't know what it's going to sound like digitally. I'm sure it's going to be a lot better than this, but this record is horrible. First of all, it's cut way too low. So you got to crank your stereo significantly louder, you know, than you would normally have to do. But what happens when you crank a record really loud to get a little bit of volume on it? You hear all the surface noise. Well, it's not like that's going to be a problem considering they put it on eco vinyl. Eco vinyl code for shit. It's horrible. It's so noisy. It doesn't matter what version you listen to. There's just a constant layer of... It's so disappointing. And it's not even disappointing for me because I can live with that. I got a lot of records. If I don't have this one, I'm not missing out on anything. But the problem is, you are destroying my customer base by putting this crap out. What happens now is all these young people, they get this, they listen to it, it's a novelty. Ooh, I got the new Billie record, here it is, it's wonderful, I'm gonna collect them, all 7 variants to save the environment. They collect them, they save them, but they don't listen to them because they sound like shit. So these people, it's just, I really don't like when people and the labels go out of the way to kill and choke the golden goose. Vinyl is capable of such great and wonderful things. And in 2024, even if you make a digital record in your bedroom, like her first record, you could still get sonic greatness out of it. But this record, I don't like, you have to work hard. I feel like, and I'm just guessing here, I'm not a mastering engineer by any stretch of the imagination or a recording engineer. I really feel like I can probably get somewhat similar sonic results if I was to do this 100% myself on my iPhone. Not my iPhone 14, but my iPhone 3G. It's that bad. I'm so perplexed by what the hell happened here. It's so smushed. None of the... it's the proverbial wet blanket. But they didn't just throw a couple of wet blankets. They just kept piling on the wet blankets. And Billie sounds like she's singing in a wet toilet paper roll. You know, like if you were to wet the toilet paper roll, put it in between you and the microphone and sing through the brown. It's so bad. It's so bad. And everything about it makes it worse. If you want to save the environment, Billie, let me help you out. Don't make 7 variations of your record. Also, keep in mind, records are made to last. I've got records in my collection that are 70, 80 years old. It is all right to not use recyclable vinyl if you are making something that is not disposable. You are making something for the long run. These records in my collection, some of them that are 80 years old, will last another 80 years. Why not make a product that is quality? Okay? Make a quality product. I'm so perplexed by it. Okay, so here, the cover's fine. There's nothing wrong with the cover. It comes in this. I'm okay with this. I'm sure this is made from sugarcane or something recyclable. It's a sleeve. It's good. It comes with it. No problem. It comes sealed. Technically, it has a little sticker that it comes with. It's made in France. It's not made at the greatest pressing plant, in my opinion. It's made at MPO. Not fantastic. It's not the worst, but it's, I would say, at the lower tier. So, yeah, it's made at the lower tier pressing plant. It was plated at RTI. It's got RTI plating on it. Okay, so you got the record, right? Yeah, record cover. We see it. I don't know whose fault the mastering is. I don't know if it's a recording issue. I don't know because I haven't heard the digital yet. But it's mastered by Dale Becker. Dale Becker seems like his biggest credits are like more like hip hop, this type of stuff, maybe. Doja Cat. I have never listened to any of those records. I don't know how they sound, but I think Billie's records are a little less like those types of records and a little more almost like a female vocalist. Kind of the modern 2024 equivalent of something like a Julie London or Ella Fitzgerald, you know, a modern female vocalist, and there should be some attention put to her voice. It's kind of the reason people are buying these records. Nobody's like, man, I want to buy that new Billie Eilish record because I heard she has a wicked drum solo on it. She's a vocal artist. People want to hear it. Not the wet toilet paper version like we have here. I don't know whose fault this mess is, this hot garbage, but it's mastered by Dale Becker. As of now, I'm going to blame Dale Becker for this sounding as horrible as it does. But what's unique about that is I looked up Dale Becker's mastering facility online, and it kind of looks like one of these modern mastering facilities where, you know, more digitally based. His mastering console is a keyboard and a mouse, it kind of looks like, you know, from what I saw online. So he probably is not the one that cut it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he did not cut this record. I don't know who cut it. It doesn't say. It says it was mastered by Dale. I'm not 100% who cut this thing. Mixed by John Castelli and Aaron Forbes. I don't know. At the gift shop, downtown LA. Mix engineer, Brad. I don't know who effed this record up that I'm holding, but I kind of want, I don't want to say I want my $25 back, but because I need it to go in my shelf next to the other records, because, you know, I'm like a completist, but I really would like a proper version of this record. It's so disappointing. I have a feeling I'm going to be buying a CD, which is bizarre because I can't even tell you the last time I bought a CD, but I have a feeling it cannot be this bad digitally. I can't envision it being this bad. I mean, if you guys get the record, let me know what you think. I'm curious. So I am coming off with the flu, and, you know, at first when I put it on, I'm like, you know, I'm doing like this. I'm like, oh man, I'm I'm doing the thing. I'm trying. I'm like, oh, I'm all congested. This sounds awful. But I happen to have a Steely Dan Asia AB first pressing sitting next to me. I'm like, oh, put this on. I was cleaning records to put out, and let me put this on. Let me see what this sounds like. Nope. It isn't the flu. It wasn't me. It's the record. It's just bad. So very disappointing. There are really good people in the business nowadays. There are people that mix and master wonderful records. If you guys are having doubt on who you should use to master your vinyl records in the future, come see Mike at the In Groove. I will direct you to somebody who can do a proper job. It isn't hard. It really isn't. There's many guys. They're really good at making and mastering proper records for vinyl. They're really good at this. They've been doing it for decades. I don't know. I don't know who Dale is. Maybe that's her brother's brother. I don't know. Yeah, I'd make her brother too. But you know what I mean. I don't know who this guy is. And maybe all his other records sound great. Maybe he was told to make it sound like this. I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked how such a major artist put this out. Because typically that's not the case. You get artists like Adele, 30, man, that record sonically really good. You're not, I don't know, vinyl quality, not the best, but it turns out they make that record in Sony Japan. I found an amazingly beautiful, quiet copy. That record is vocally fantastic. I don't know what the theme was here. I'm just disappointed because I want to hear this record sound like I feel like it should, but maybe it was designed to be a lo-fi record. I don't know what the thing. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I know, boomer, barking, complaining. I was in the shop. One of the customer service reps, 22, 23 years old. You know, I was just like, what is wrong? And I'm like, I'm twitching and I'm fidgeting with my settings and I'm going through and she's like looking at me like, what the hell's wrong with you? This record sounds great. This sounds fine. And I'm like, no, but when I'm explaining, I'm like, no, this is awful. Like, what? And I'm like, I went in the back and I didn't have a copy of her first record. I like cracked one open. I'm like, listen to this. Boom, you know, and I'm like, you know, we're playing this, keep in mind, on a $100,000 stereo system. So you would think it'd be pretty good, right? But I put it on, I'm going back and forth, and she just looks at me and she's like, what'd she say? Billie's Queen, shut up, boomer. You know, she's playful, we get along. But, you know, she didn't want to hear any of that. And maybe the people that are going to buy this record really don't care about that. But I think that is a huge disservice. I really want, and my goal is for these labels and these artists to put out high, if you were going to charge the money for this, please put out a high quality product. Don't screw over my customers. I really take offense when you do it. When you put out subpar crap, you're not, I mean, you know, you're going to tour and make lots of money and do appearances and you're going to be making plenty of money. But Mike at the In Groove sells records. I don't want you to gut shot my customers and the future customers, the young generation who are going to be like perpetuating this. And when you put out subpar crap, when you put out poor sounding records, you're not doing any of us any favors. You're really not. You're hurting my business. You're hurting your customer base. Maybe they don't even know it at the time, but when they listen to these kind of records, they're going to think to themselves, I don't need to spend $35 on this. It sounds better on my iPhone, through my earpods. When I know, and probably a lot of you people watching my channel, because I'm an audiophile-based channel, you know that vinyl has the potential to sound to the next level of all the other things. And that's what I like to be able to show people. When you come into my store, that's kind of the experience you're going to have when I put a record on. You're going to be blown away like, what is this? And I hear that all the time. Customers come into my store. It is nonstop all the time. What is this? And what are we listening to it on? That will never, I mean, what is this will be said because it is a really musically great album. But nobody's ever going to be like, this sounds really good. Tell me about that gear. It costs how much? Not going to happen. Okay, so that's it. Oh, it's for sale on the website. This is the best infomercial for a record ever. Buy it from theingroove.com. Until next time.